my car.
What's that?
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
What's that?
I'm going to be making a YouTube video of the entire repair process of this car. Hi there, my name is Neil Morris. Welcome to my office here where I'll be editing these videos. Now then, I have a Porsche 991 Generation 1. This has, I believe, the MA103 engine that was used across many years, I think from 2013 possibly to 2016, and then certainly after that it became a 991 Generation 2, and they added a turbo to it and reduced the cylinder size to a 3 litre, I believe. Anyway, not a complete expert on the total history, but I've certainly learnt a lot about Generation 1 991s in the meantime. I'm an electronics engineer by trade. I'm not a mechanic, and I've never ever worked on these engines and taken them apart before, so it's going to be a whole learning experience for me. So come along, join me, and let's get to it. And also do like and subscribe if you want to be following these videos. That would be much appreciated. Off to the coalface. Now, I bought this Porsche in October, well actually the beginning of November, from Lakeside Classics. It was very low mileage, excellent looking example with a full Porsche service history and 3 previous owners, so I'm the 4th owner. From memory, I think it done 24,500 miles. One of the reasons I went for it. Now, I did believe that this particular engine didn't suffer with the problems that some of the earlier engines had suffered with, i.e. the bore score, namely, and of course the IMS bearing, because I was told it doesn't have one, and the bore is a completely different design with different lubrication apparently. I don't know how true that is. Certainly the bore is different. I know that it has a different technology called Lock-A-Seal rather than Nick-A-Seal. Anyway, move on. Where are we now? We're early July 2025. So in June, a month ago, I was out and about in the car and it began to lose power at speed. I was on the motorway, so I had to be rescued, towed home, and it was misfiring, and I was thinking, oh, this is just going to be a spark plug or a coil pack problem. So I replaced all the spark plugs and coil packs, but there was no difference at all. So then I had to think about having a closer look at the inside of the engine. Bought myself a bore score, popped that in, had a look at the cylinders. Lo and behold, pretty much all of the cylinders have scoring on them. On top of that, cylinder 6 had a hole in the exhaust valve, which was obviously the cause of the loss of power. So that, it seems, had been running lean. Anyway, move on. I called around several people. Obviously, I spoke to Lakeside Classics, who sold me the car, and it's over 6 months ago, and of course they didn't want to know, and they were no help at all. I gave them plenty of opportunity to make some proposals, but yeah, their position was they didn't want to know. In fact, actually, their first response was, we can see you've replaced the exhaust on this with an aftermarket exhaust, and so that's probably the cause, and therefore we're not interested. And they'd looked up my Facebook account to get this information, so that was their response when I first approached them. Can you believe that? Anyway, I'm not really going to pursue that any further. I don't think, and deal with the problem myself. Hang on, step backwards. I called around several Porsche specialists, and I found one called RPM Technic, and they sounded like they knew what they were talking about, and they said, well, we can get an exchange engine from Germany, It'll have a 2-year warranty. It'll be completely rebuilt to factory spec, and we'll exchange it with your engine. The cost of the engine will be about £15,500 plus that, plus the cost of fitting. And I thought, yeah, great, okay. So I got them to pick the car up, take it off, and do that. So they did that, and I kind of heard nothing for a couple of weeks, and I thought, this is strange. So I chased them up, and I chased them up, and I chased them up, and then it emerged that actually they couldn't get a rebuilt engine at all for this. Somehow they'd made a mistake. I think they blamed Porsche for that. So I've just got them to return this car to me. To be pragmatic and get it back quick, I've paid half the cost of the transport to get this thing back, rather than get involved in a long drawn out argument with RPM. So the Porsche should be arriving any second now. Now my plan is, I've bought a second-hand identical engine that I found up in Scotland from a breakers, off of a identical GTS 2015 model that had done 46,000 miles, and had been written off in a crash. It had a big whack in the side of the shell, and somehow had obviously gone beyond the cost of repair. So I found this engine, I bought that. I've also bought a very low mileage, almost brand new, lower block on its own with nothing attached to it. And it seems that one half of this block on the outside, I think it's where the exhaust bracket bolts on to the front of one of the sides of this block casing. Somebody's damaged the casing, the block casing itself, as it's just aluminium. So I've got someone local to have a go at repairing that. You take a close look at those bores and they look almost brand new. And the whole engine is quite shiny as well. So this is obviously quite a low mileage example. And I suspect what's probably, we don't know the full story on this. I bought it off of a Lotus dealer who's sadly passed away up in Halesowen, and his family are selling off all of the parts he's acquired, and for some reason he had this block there. I suspect that's what's happened is somebody has broken that casting, and Porsche bought a new engine for the guy, probably under warranty. Anyway, this is my car, so let's see. It should have just arrived. Hello.
Good morning.
That's my car.
What's that?
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
What's that?
I'm going to be making a YouTube video of the entire repair process of this car.
You know it doesn't run, do you?
I'll be replacing the engine.
Oh, good, because it doesn't start at the moment.
Has it got a flat battery?
No, just if it had been a flat battery, they would have just started it.
Yeah, yeah.
But we pushed it on.
Yeah. You got the key?
Oh yeah, I got the key.
And what happened when you tried to turn it over?
The mechanics came out with it.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, if you'd known, I would have bought one with a winch.
It was certainly running when I gave it to you.
Not to me.
Just one cylinder wasn't running.
Oh, right.
It was only running on 5 cylinders. So I don't know why that is. Okay, well the nice chap who's dropped my car off has just left, and it turns out it does run actually. Yeah, I've just had to pay for that, unfortunately, that return. Poor customer services from RPM. You would have thought they would have waived their collection and return charges, as they'd mistakenly thought they could replace the engine in this with an exchange from Porsche, but it turns out they couldn't. So Porsche doesn't have exchange engines for this particular car. Anyway, it does run as well, so that's good news. Nothing has changed. It looks as though they probably haven't even really looked at it. They've just found out they couldn't get an engine. But this is what it sounds like. There we go. That's the the sound of it running on one 6 cylinders with the with one cylinder misfiring, and I'll show you some images of exactly why that is. As I mentioned earlier, when I bought the spark plugs and coil packs, which didn't help the engine misfire, I noticed spark plug cylinder 6 had began to melt. So I bought one of those things that every Porsche owner seems to need, a bore scope. And what did I find? I found a hole in the exhaust valve. So this was obviously running extremely hot to cause this, possibly an injector not injecting enough fuel, causing it to run lean. But the state of the bores, all of the bores, it wasn't just the bore with this valve issue, it was all of the bores with scores in them. And quite how this has happened is a mystery to me, because this car has full service history. It hasn't missed any services. It's just a mystery. If anyone's got any ideas, leave your comments below. So the plan is here, as I mentioned yesterday in the garage, I've got a pretty good block here. Look at these lovely cylinders on this block here, and look how shiny it is. So this is certainly worth rebuilding. Half of it is sat there on the workbench. The other half is with a local chap here in Stourport that I've had to drop this into, called Barry, and he's going to have a go at repairing, doing some aluminium block welding, as it needs a little repair to the a bolt hole on the outside, which I'll show you in a second. Yeah, so apologies, I haven't got the other side block here, I sent it away, but I did take this picture of the damage here. Just below that plug hole, you can see the broken casting there. It looks like somebody's perhaps done a bolt up too tight, or maybe it's had a whack or something in a road accident. But this is the spot on a good engine, what it would look like, so that's got to be repaired. But what are you looking at here? Well, I have managed to track down and purchase a second-hand 3.8 GTS engine, complete, from a breakers in Scotland. I've had them send some preliminary bore pictures to me. This engine's done 46,000 miles, and it was sourced off of a written off car that had a bash in the side. Funnily enough, a lava orange GTS as well, just like mine. So I have the full history of that too. And yeah, it all looks good. So I thought I'd take a chance on it at great expense. So let's have a look at it, shall we? The plan is, I think, to tidy this engine up, pop this engine in the 991, get that going, take with the old engine in the state that you've seen it in, completely strip that engine down, put the good parts in this new lower block, and put the whole lot together, so that there should be, at the end of the day, 2 good engines. Right, so let's have a look at this engine. I think the first thing to do is have a good look at the oil filter, make sure there's no nasties in there. Then we'll get the bore scope in the cylinders and take a look and see what the state of wear is on them. Okay, so these oil filters, very simple to get at in a nice location. And it's not too mucky. And it's a Marley filter, so it tells me it's the Porsche Genuine Original. And that is looking pleasantly good. I have put the torch down somewhere, but we need to I'll shine a bright light on that, that might help. There we go, that's the torch. Okay, camera. Can you see the filter? No nasties in there at all. I think that's good news. Yeah, I'm really not seeing anything at all there. That looks all in good order. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, pleased with that. Of course, this is bank 2, which is, according to the Porsche community out there, is the bank that gives the most issues in these flat 6 engines, certainly in the water-cooled variety, and certainly in the earlier engines, the 996s and 7s. I think those engines are the ones with the so-called Nicosil technology, and this variety of engine has so-called Locosil technology. Nevertheless, it's bore scored, as we can see. Get the plugs out. Plug looks the correct colour. Moving on. Correct colour. And of course, electrode in good condition, unlike we saw earlier. Also good. Right, it's time for the friendly bore scope. This one's particularly useful because you can angle the camera end around. So let's take a look. Let's see what we're up against. Let's see if we've got a good one. Right, that obviously has the piston top dead centre, so really going to get much further with that, so I'm going to have to turn the engine. There we go. There is a piston and our cylinder walls. Okay, they have some wear, but they are not scraped or scratched a billio. What I shall do is I'll take some recordings and put them up direct off the bore scope itself. So here we are. These cylinders go 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, because that's how they come up as I was turning the engine in a convenient order. This is actually the third time I've had a look at these though, because I accidentally deleted the original files and had to go back and do it again and then again for composing this video. Anyway, I reckon, I mean, this is obviously, you know, light years better than my existing engine. It's an engine that's done 46,000 miles, so it's going to have some wear. Of course it is. It has got, you know, some signs of scratching or scoring, but it's just not deep. I mean, you certainly wouldn't be able to get a fingernail, so that shouldn't be causing it to burn oil, I would imagine. And I would expect the engines, you know, going to have tens of thousands of miles left, correctly serviced. So I'm happy with the engine. I think it's good. I mean, you can see how these things wear though. I'd say anyone buying a 991
Generation 1, do a bore score, no matter how many miles it's got, how many previous owners, how good its service history, doesn't matter. Get it bore score, because they very clearly do suffer. Anyway, this is obviously going to be an extremely long project. The next one will be cleaning the engine up and looking at removing the other engine. Of course, the other thing I could do is look at renting a garage that might have a ramp that may make life easier. Do it undercover where you won't need to worry about the weather. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to be able to catch the next episode when it's released. So, catch you in the next one. Bye for now.